All right, hey guys, this is Skill Builder 23. Okay, so let's get started. When we're multiplying integers, we're just going to multiply. 21 times 2 is 42, and if the signs are different, it is a negative, and those rules are right over here. Here's our rules for multiplying and dividing. Here we have negative 66 is divided by negative 6. If the signs are same, it's positive. And 66 divided by 6 would be 11. Excuse me. And then here we have 66 times 0.5. Now a little trick is to start to remember that this just means a half. Okay, same thing. So a half of 66, that's all we're doing. What's half of 66? That would be 30. Excuse me again. All right, here we have negative 6 plus a negative 3. You have a model of it down here. So here's 6 negatives and 3 more negatives. Nothing cancels out. We're just adding it all together to get negative 9. On this one, we have 5 plus 4 negatives. This time, if you look at the model, each positive cancels out one negative. So you're left with one positive. The rule is when the signs are different, you subtract and you keep the sign of the larger number. All right. So we're going to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 2 times 2 is 4. We're going to X, we're going to O, we're going to clean house. Then 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Add that up. 7 and 5 is 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there are 4 numbers behind the decimal in total, because we do have to add those up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our decimal will move over 4 places. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right, here we have to move the decimal. We need the number on the outside, the divisor, to be a whole number. So we'll move the decimal once, make that 15. But we also have to move this once, so it becomes 22.5. All right, 15 goes into 22 one time. You subtract, you get 7, drop the 5, and 15 into 75 would go 5 times. And you're done. All right, the first thing we're going to have to do here is to get a common denominator. So I'm going to take 3 and 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. It looks like the first number they share in common would be the 12. So that is my common denominator. Notice here the denominator isn't changing, so we're not going to change the numerator here. 5 twelfths is still 5 twelfths. But on this one, if this is 3 and that's 12, your scale factor is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. You have to use the same number on top. 2 times 4 is 8. And we're going to add that up. So 8 twelfths and 5 twelfths. The only thing that you're actually adding here will be the numerators. The denominator will still be twelfths. So let's see. 8 and 5 would add up to 13. Now this is an improper fraction. These are not ratios. These are fractions. So we will need to divide. 12 goes in there once, with 1 left over. So we're going to rewrite this as 1 and 1 12th. Okay, absolute value. The key is absolute value will always be positive because you're just measuring the distance between this number and 0. So the distance would be 62, 1/5, 63.625, 13, and 1.25. No matter what, absolute value is always positive because it's measuring a distance, and distance is always positive. All right, we got GEMDAS here. We are going to use our GEMDAS word to keep track of this. So let's see. Within this parentheses, we're going to have to do the order of operations. So we're going to do this first. The 4 to the second power means 4 times 4, which is 16. So this is 16 take away 2. And 16 minus 2 is 14. Now we need to do this parentheses also. 2 times 4 would be 8. And then we're adding those together. So the first parentheses gave me 14, the second gave me 8. Add that up, and 14 plus 8 would be 22. All right. Okay, vocabulary. A ratio of two integers where the denominator cannot be 0. That's a rational number. An equation that states that two ratios are equal. That's a proportion. A comparison of two numbers written in a fraction form is a ratio. The distance from 0 on the number line would be the absolute value. A ratio of two measurements that have different units, that would be a rate. And a rate that has a denominator of 1 is a unit rate. All right, it says here, what if your variable is 6? That means where I see the letter B, I'm going to replace that with a 6. All right, so we're just going left to right here because it's all subtracting and adding. 24 take away 6 would be 18. Okay, 18 take away 6 would be 12. And then if I add 6 back, I'm back to 18. Good. All right, so how do we're asking here 12 times what is 144? If you don't know the missing part of the problem, you divide to find it. This is actually a multiplication fact. 12 times 12 is 144, so x is 12. All right, this is one of the harder questions on here. It says place the numbers on the number line. Okay, so we have three numbers that are positive. I'll just highlight them here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the positive numbers fall between 0 and 1, and if you notice, this has been broken into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So this is one of the 4, and that was actually one of the points we were looking for. And then we would have 2 of 4, but that simplifies. That could also be called a half. And then 3 of 4, which is one of the points we're looking for. And then this would be also known as 4 out of 4, which is one of the points we're looking for. So we've got these three on the number line. Now we know this is a half. Negative half would be exactly the opposite. So instead of counting 1, 2 to get to a half, go the other way. 1, 2. This would be negative 1 half. And this is the only one you might be unsure about, but this comes directly off the fraction decimal percent part of your skill builder. At this point in the year, you should have memorized that this equals 0.25. So if this is 0.25, negative 0.25 is the exact opposite. So instead of going 1 to the right, go 1 to the left. This is negative 0.25. All right, we have our graphing section. All right, this is always x first, then y. This is x, this is y. All right, so we're going to go to 2. This is 1, 2, and then up to 1, 2, and an extra half. Can't see this very well, and I'm sorry for that. It's a little blurry. Here we have 1.5. Let's see if I can focus that a bit. Not very much. 1.5 and 3.5. So I'm going to go over to 1 and the extra half. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and the extra half. So there's my second point. Now your points are supposed to be where the lines intersect. So just kind of be aware of that. If you're not sure where a half is, think of it as 0 and a half. So this will be between 0 and 1. So start at 0, go a half, then go up 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3.5 means you go over to 1, 2, 3.5, then up to 1, 2.5. This is 3.5, 4.5, so go back to 3.5, go up to 1, 2, 3, let's see, I'm losing track here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, all the way up top. Okay. And lastly, 3 and a half, go all the way over to 1, 2, 3 and a half. And then you're put a 0 there if it helps. You're only going up to a half, so that's between 0 and 1. It will be right here. Okay. All right, write the ratio in 3 forms. It's $35 for 6 dogs. So, this could be written in a few different ways. $36. Let's just put dollars on top, dogs on bottom. So it's 36 to 6, 36 to 6 this way, or 36 to 6 here. Here we're talking about what you earned, $25 for 5 hours of babysitting. So I'm going to do this a little differently. This is $25 for 5 hours of babysitting. I'm going to use this as a chance to simplify. What if we took this down to 1 hour of babysitting? Aren't we dividing by 5 here? So 25 divided by 5 is $5 for every 1 hour of babysitting. All right, lastly, these we're just memorizing. This is 0.3 that repeats, and 33 1/3%. If you double that, this would be not 3 but 6. 33 and 2. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. If you're doubling this, this would be 66 2/3%. Everything's doubling. If you triple it, well, that's kind of, you would think it would be 0.9, but look again, this is 3 over 3. 3 divided by 3 is exactly 1, so it's 100%. All right, let's do the fourths. These are the ones you need to memorize. If you don't know this, you're going to divide. 1 divided by 4 would give me 2 here and 5. So this is 0.25 and 25%. That's my benchmark, the one with the 1 on the top. The next benchmark I need to know is right here. If you don't know it by memory, you can divide again to figure this out. This is 0.2 and 20%. Now from those two, we can solve the rest of it. 2/4 would be this amount doubled because it's 2/4. So 0.50 and 50%. 3/4 would be, well, 3 of these, so we're tripling it. So 75 and 75. And 4 divided by 4 is just 1, so that's 100%. Let's look at this one. We've got 0.2 and 20, so that's 1/5. 2/5 would be this amount doubled, so 0.4 and 40. 3/5 would be this amount tripled, so 0.6 and 60. 4/5 would be this amount, but quadrupled, or times 4, so 0.8 and 80. And then 5 divided by 5, well, that's just 1, or 100%. That is your skill builder. Good luck. Bye-bye.